Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the Horror Movie Iceberg podcast. All throughout December, we're covering a few of the surprisingly diverse Christmas horror movies that are out there. Russell's back with me. Russell, how are you?
Doing good. Looking forward to doing our next step here after Silent Night, Deadly Night. Looking forward to talking about Krampus. Should be exciting. It had been a minute since I had seen this film, and it's a 10th anniversary too. So why not?
Yeah, again, talking about like Silent Night, Deadly Night with the remake coming out. This is another timely one, is that this came out in 2015. 2015 is 10 years old. Good word. But anyway, let's get into talking about Krampus. Krampus was directed by Michael Dougherty, who is primarily known for two things: directing Trick or Treat and being the main creative head behind the Godzilla vs. Kong movies. He's also kind of ghostwrited, that's a word. He also kind of wrote a little bit of X-Men and X-Men 2. He was a kind of ghostwriter on those movies. It's a story. Point is, movie starred Adam Scott, Toni Collette, David Koechner, and many others. And it tells the story of, well, what I'm going to call a McAllister family Christmas, in that a family gets together for Christmas and it's pretty bad and it goes south very fast. It's like the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation movie, The Griswolds, but that's played up for laughs, and this is played up like the opposite of that. And so, on a whim, a young boy named Max, played by MJ Anthony, writes a complete opposite letter to Santa, where he basically says he wants his family gone. Santa doesn't show up. His other shows up in the form of Krampus, the dark, evil half of Santa. So, Russell, I didn't see this one in theaters. I saw this one way later.
Yeah, I did too.
I kicked myself for not watching this in theaters, because I've always thought this movie was a very nice little even mix of comedy and just being out and out terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I remember first seeing it and thinking, what the hell am I watching? It was one of those things where I didn't see it either in the theaters. And kind of what you said, like, I didn't know really what to take it, because I thought it was a horror film. But then there's spots where we're like, it's like almost like you have like kind of like CGI animation too in it. Or like even like, it's not stop animation. It feels like it though. Because it feels like there's times where they're near the end of that film, they have like that stop animation. But it's not, the one that Leica does a lot. I felt like it almost felt like a Leica film when they were doing those, when they were going back into Oni's past or whatever. Mm-hmm. It kind of felt like that. Anyway, kind of what you said there. Then there's like times of comedy. It is like a hodgepodge. It's like a melting pot of a different film. And you don't know how to take it. That's the thing. It's like there's times where it's like super unnerving, and then there's times where it's like it's out of left field. Like it's like so far out of left field. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate that enough, because I feel like it's different enough. And like I said, I needed another watch on this, so I'm glad I got another watch on it.
Well, the movie opens and it's about 20 minutes of this family, and you hate these people. Like, I'm pretty sure that was by design. I cannot stand these people. Like, even the great Toni Collette plays just a person who you would never want to meet. And so, like, that just gives more fuel to the fire, so that when Max writes the letter, you're like, yeah, kid, it's probably not going to happen, but you speak your truth out there. Well, again, the letter just has like the complete backfire effect, and Krampus shows up and just all hell breaks loose, quite literally. As soon as Krampus shows up, it's game over. It's pretty much game over for these people.
Yeah, and you can really see, and honestly, like kind of what you said, obviously it's like that Christmas Vacation, but it's like, I feel like, Toni Collette and like Adam Scott and those guys, like I feel like that family, like, yeah, you could tell that there's like there's like strife in between. Like there's definitely like, they're not a perfect family by any means, but it's obviously when her sister come in with her husband, played by David from Anchorman.
Koechner.
whammy.
I've always known him as Todd Packer from The Office.
Oh, okay. See every time I see him, I think of Champ Bailey, whammy. That's just yeah. Anyway, but no, when his family comes in, I think is when things really take a turn because his family is just very just. You have two of the daughters who are absolute like they roughhouse or like tomboys. And then you have the son who doesn't really even talk. The Adam Scott's and Toni Collette's son's trying to talk to him. Hey, what you ask Santa for Christmas? Blah blah blah. And he just kind of stays real like quiet and stuff like that. You could tell that like obviously the family dynamics are definitely there to where it's like it's definitely a dysfunctional family. And then, like you said, once Krampus makes an appearance, it's game over. Things really start picking up right after when the daughter goes looking for her, try to find her boyfriend.
I got to give credit to Michael Dougherty for doing his best to keep Krampus like in the shadows, because when you do see him, it's unsettling. It's always unsettling to me, but he does a good job with the build-up. Like, because you
100%.
got creepy gingerbread men, and then you got the clown. I mean, I'm okay with clowns, but I get the fear for like stuff like It. Like, I'm watching It Welcome to Derry as of the recording of this. Like, I'm like, the clown fear makes a lot more sense now that I've like kind of seen it in popular media. But you got like the little guys, and then you got Krampus himself. And Russell, this thing is horrible. Just he looks like Santa if he looked into the Ark at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's how I can describe it. With horns. But he's got really big horns.
And I think the reason for the goosebumps on your arms when you see him, I think it's just because of how big he is in stature. He's a very bulky creature. And I like that how they build that up. Again, kind of what you said, they don't really show him very much. You see him pretty much in shadows or just see his silhouette. And I think that's creepy enough. The other one is the elves. The elves, it was funny because I felt like the elves were wearing like eyes wide shut sex party masks. Did you get that? Did you see like some of the different masks they were wearing near the end of the film?
I'm not going to lie. I didn't make necessarily that connection, but I can totally understand what you're coming from.
Another Christmas movie, by the way. So let's just go ahead and throw that out there, Hey.
Nice little connection.
Yeah.
It makes sense why Michael Dougherty does the Godzilla and Kong movies now, because he's actually quite good at doing monster movies. Like Guillermo del Toro was the king of monster movies in the modern day, but Dougherty's not bad at it. And I feel like with this, it was low-key kind of an audition tape, because if you watch Godzilla versus Kong, the first one, it's so good. Like Godzilla King of the Monsters, I'll defend all the live long day. New Empire was a lot of fun. So Michael Dougherty knows what he's doing with this. I don't think it ever gets as scary, like, because it's scary in the Godzilla versus Kong movies as it does here, but I feel like he knows what he's doing with monsters.
Yeah, and I really would have liked to see what would have happened if this was an R rating. Do you know what I mean? I was totally surprised when I popped this in. Like I bought it on Prime because it was on sale for like $6.99. I was surprised to see that it was PG-13. I totally forgot all about it because I just remember seeing the movie and I'm like, oh yeah, this was rated R, right? And then I'm watching, I'm like, oh my god, it's PG-13. I really would like to see this thing at like a hard R to see kind of how like more darker we could have gotten and still had like that comedic vibes to it too. I think that would have been really cool to kind of see where we could have gone with that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And then I low-key forgot this was PG-13 too. They get away with a lot on a PG-13. This is like a Casino Royale PG-13 where it's like it's not R, but they're like flirting with the R. That's all I'll say.
For sure. Definitely a lot of tiptoeing around the R. Yeah, I was totally surprised that this was PG-13.
I almost don't want to spoil the ending, but the movie's 10 years old. I think the statute of limitations has like elapsed. Yeah. But we might as well just talk about the ending. That, like, first of all, before I forget, this just came to me now. Let's talk about the grandmother for a second, because the grandmother, she's really creepy, and then she has like the whole Krampus backstory, and it's kind of like animated, and it's told in a completely different style. I love that sequence
I
so
dug
much.
that too.
Outside of the ending, it's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I dug it too. Kind of like what you said. I had like Leica vibes on that one, like almost like a Coraline-esque vibes. It felt creepy, but I like how they told the story like that. I felt like it was a little bit different. You could have gone flashbacks and gone something completely cheesy. I felt like it added more creativity to the flashback scene, so I did like that and I appreciated that.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then let's get to the ending where, after all of this has gone down, the family is being pushed into the literal mouth of hell. Like a portal opens, they're going straight to Christian hell. And Max is like, wait, please don't. And like, he makes a last minute plea to like save him and
sacrifice
his
himself.
family.
Yeah,
And Krampus basically pulls a bug from Men in Black where he says, "Your proposal is acceptable." And then the next thing you know, they wake up. It's Christmas morning. All's calm. All is bright. But they're in a snow globe, and they're gonna stay there for all of time. Russell, you were telling me earlier that this was reminded you of like Nightmare on Elm Street crossed with Christmas Carol. I
yeah,
totally get it. I
yeah,
totally get
really.
that.
Yeah, because of the fact that Nightmare on Elm Street one, obviously the ending of the film, how bright it is. I just remember how bright that is, that whole entire scene when Nancy's going outside to go to school, and then how bright it is, and then the mom gets pulled through the door and it ends. I just remember how damn bright it was, and I felt like the end of Krampus was like that. So when the kid wakes up and goes downstairs and everyone's down there and said, hey, we were waiting for you, blah blah blah, and they're opening presents and all this stuff, and then he obviously gets that Krampus bell that Oni had showed him, that Oni had gotten from Krampus years prior, to kind of like always remember, like if you don't believe or whatever, like losing the Christmas spirit or whatever, blah blah blah. I don't know. Anyway, he gets the same bell, and then we kind of see it like pan out, like, and everybody just like kind of like gives each other like these looks, like what is going on, and then it pans out, and then you see this like Krampus's lair with all these snow globes of all these other families that he has like pretty much haunted or like wreaked havoc with, and it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like a Hellraiser ending or like a Twilight Zone ending or a Black Mirror ending for a more modern example.
Or Cabin
Like
in the Woods ending too. It wasn't Cabin in the Woods kind of like that ending too. Like it had all those different like components or whatever.
You
At
had
the end.
that, and then you had the big hand reaching out and going.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking of like all the different like monsters. Maybe I'm thinking of all the different like things or whatever. Anyway, but yeah,
I can
the vibe. But the vibes I got, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously because of how bright it was at the ending, it felt like that as an ending. And then with the Christmas, Carol, it was more the fact of like, what did we learn from this? Like, what did we like learn from this? Because I felt like there was like, and obviously there's a scene in the film where they are watching Christmas Carol. I don't know which version it is, but they are watching the Christmas Carol. So I just thought that kind of resonated to me when I was watching it too.
Yes, but overall, I'm going to give this an amazing grade. This is not just one of the best Christmas horror movies, it's one of the best horror movies of the 2010s period. Like, the movie's 10 years old, and it still gives me the chills to this day. Like I said, Michael Dougherty is super kind of underrated in the monster movie department. He's really good, and he's tied up with the MonsterVerse, so should keep that in mind. But at the same time, I kind of hope he does another movie like this, like later on. Like, I'm not saying like just fire him off like the MonsterVerse. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that 5-6 years from now, give him a smaller budget and let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, and obviously, you could always do a sequel to this if you really wanted to. The stories are endless with that. You can just do it. You just torment another family.
Have another family. Like
Yeah.
you can either get the same actor to play Krampus or get someone else. There's like rather, I guess, unfortunately, like endless possibilities. And shout out to Luke Hawker, who plays the physical body of Krampus, because he shone like a diamond in this. Like, he was rather good.
Yeah, he kind of reminded me of like how Tyler Maine's character, when Tyler Maine played Michael Myers with the beard, how tall he was. I think just that whole stature, I think, kind of gave me like Rob Zombie, Michael Myers vibes. But yeah, I like his overall stature though. Definitely creepy.
Yeah. But I passed it off to all of you. What did you think of Krampus? Let us know in the comments. We would love to read what you have to say. And Russell, it's a privilege to do this with you every single week. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can find us Notorious by Chance on Facebook and on YouTube. We will be shooting our 200th episode here sometime soon. And then we have some big news for 2026. We are going to do Iron Man to Avengers Endgame to kind of celebrate the new Avengers film. So that should be pretty exciting. So keep an eye on that as well. At NBC Podcast TikTok, at NBC Podcast on X.
Yep, all those links down below. Subscribe to them over there. As far as this channel goes, next week we will be returning back to the Iceberg, and we'll be covering a Black Christmas movie. Not the innovative one, and not the crap one either. It's the weird little middle one from 2006, and we will be having a special guest on to talk about that with us. But for Russell, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. Y'all take care.